Well, basically, thanks everybody for the invitation, and thanks Pier Giorgio for the introduction that really fits what I'm going to tell you. Just to start with one figure, can I move on the slides? Yeah, okay, sorry. Uh, this one is the slide that I like much more in general terms, simply because it demonstrates with only one figure that the digital economy doesn't exist. If we don't consider this expression as a definition of nowadays economy. So any business is digital. That figure shows that just 25% of the added value created by technology goes in the budget accounts of ICT companies. All the rest of the value is widespread and spread throughout the economy. Why this happens? I think it's very, very simple to understand. Internet is a general purpose technology. It's something that does not generate a new industry, but just pervades all the industries. And if the web, my company, for example, in the 90s, beginning of the 2000s, was actually one single industry. Google used to produce a search engine, then put advertising in it and make money out of that. And it was a 100% business that happened online. We are increasingly facing technologies, most of all the cloud, that change the other businesses, so that introduce radical changes in the way in which businesses work and in the approach they have to the world. So the internet is the platform that allows companies to be local and global at the same time, and that dramatically reduces the sense of locality and land in the economy. That's the very topic of our roundtable. The first radical change that ICT and the internet technology introduced for companies is an incredible increase in productivity. And this is very debate from a policy perspective. I will spend really a couple of minutes on that. But what we see is till the mid-90s, even stronger convergence among productivity rates in the US and in the European Union. In the mid of the 90s, we faced for the first time a divergence. So American companies start to grow more and be more productive than European ones. I didn't put in this presentation due to time constriction, but what is extremely interesting from a European perspective is that it's not true in all our continent, but we have countries in which productivity gains, thanks to technology, are as high as in the US, like in the UK, and others, like in ours, in which SMEs in particular weren't able to take advantage of that productivity gains and didn't take advantage at all of the internet revolution. So moving from an internet economy to an internet-driven economy in which ICT and the internet enable productivity for all the businesses is one of the ways to overcome our productivity leakage. The cloud is the technology that helps us with this. Basically, what is cloud computing? I think it's up to me to define it, because it's the first time I'm talking about that, but I know that my colleagues in the panel will go deeper in this discussion. But basically, ICT comes well before the cloud. It's something that is invented in the 60s and is widespread in the 80s and 90s. The cloud is something that it's around 2010. The ICT is basically something that a company invests in. It's capital. You have to purchase it, put in your companies, and you have to purchase all the ICT you used to need to purchase, all the ICT you imagine to need to grow your company. So if you were a small business and you wanted to use ICT technology, you needed to do a big investment to access that. What changed with the cloud is that basically ICT and technology becomes a service that you can hire for the amount of money and the amount of power and of computational power that you need to manage the business you are creating. This means something very simple, that's dramatically democratize access to technology and ICT for small businesses and dramatically increase productivity and reduce costs for SMEs. This is our internal accounts that show that, of course, there are big efficiency gains in the usage of ICT thanks to the cloud, but if you have a small company, these efficiency gains rise up to over 70%. It's really intuitive. If you need computational force to create, well, I usually use this example. If you have a shop, you hire more people for the Christmas season, and then you have less people during the ordinary season. The cloud allows companies to do exactly the same. So they can hire more computational power during the peak season and use less during the other season. So they can compete with bigger companies even if they don't have internally that computational force. Well, this shows just some figures to share with you how cloud is useful for all companies, but much more for SMEs, and how much there is yet to do, because usage by cloud computing is very widespread for big companies. SMEs in the OECD countries are much less advanced in this, even if Italy, I'm pretty proud of that, stays from one time at the top of the position for cloud users, even for SMEs. But in the last 3 minutes, what happens then? So what I discussed till now happens within the company. But cloud technology and the digital economy do not just change the company, the company and its internal organization, but they also change the business model and the way they can have relationships with the world. This is the long tail graph. That means basically only one thing. Well, another example from Google. The most viewed video on Google is a Korean rapper that sounds Gangnam Style that raised, I think, 1 billion views sometimes. In the mainstream world, in the pre-internet world, every one of us would have had access only to Gangnam Style because market worked that way. So the average is what you offer to everybody. With the internet, Gangnam Style represents a minimal fraction of the total views on YouTube. Because on YouTube you can see Gangnam Style, but even the rock band of your son, and even the neo-melodical singer from Naples, and so on. And even the chorus from the Amazon tribes, really. You can give it a try. So the long tail this is the concept of long tail. Thanks to the web, it doesn't matter how a niche you produce. Any specific product you produce can be sold and distributed at practically no cost everywhere in the world. So your market is the world. You don't need to be mainstream to access a global market. This is the first dramatical change introduced by cloud computing. There is a direct consequences of servers that you can hire to use as a communication tool, as a platform to spread your content, and of the ability to increase your computational campaign at no cost. Second, and happening, is data. Because cloud computing allows companies to do two things. Access data, because in the cloud there are a lot of free data. Access applications, because in the cloud and in the app stores, you can find a lot of applications for free to analyze big sets of data. But most importantly, companies in the cloud can storage safely and effectively analyze and use big data sets. So you don't need an internal big ICT department to analyze and take out value from the data that you produce. So thanks to the cloud, any company can be a data-driven company. And this is another change that will probably have a big impact on our SMEs. Well, how to take full advantage of that? We think that two things are crucial. The first one are enablers. We perceive ourselves as enablers. There are a lot of enablers in terms of digital platform. What are the enablers? The enablers are companies that offer service and have a business model that is based on helping the other succeed. Google succeeds when other companies succeed. So Android succeeds when developers of Android apps have success and users download their apps. The search engine succeeds when people actually find interesting information online. YouTube succeeds when people upload content there. And it's a win-win alliance. So this, of course, happens for Google, but it happens for a lot of companies that work on the web. So the cloud economy and the no-land economy is basically enabled by enabling platform. And thanks to enabling platform, it's possible now for literally any business to take advantage of this transformation. The other thing that lacks is skills. So e-skills are the key to make this transformation possible. And this is the reason why a lot of effort is put by institutions of empowering people, because we need very high-level technical skills. Data scientists will be some of the sexiest jobs in the coming years. But we also need basic digital skills in all the workers. 90% of any worker in 2020 will need basic digital skills. I stop this presentation and I'll keep on discussing with you. Thank you.